My phone chimes with a new email as I study the quarterly projections spread across my desk. The familiar ding barely registers another notification in an endless stream of corporate communication. But something about the subject line catches my eye, forcing me to look twice. Hargrove Family Lakeside Retreat, RSVP today. My fingers freeze over the keyboard. The autumn sun streams through my office window, illuminating the framed awards on my wall achievements that span a decade of financial success. Success my family never acknowledged. A photo on my desk shows a much younger version of me at the lake house, my grandmother's arm around my shoulders as we stand on the weathered dock. I open the email. The familiar names scroll past: Mom, Dad, Tessa, Logan, Uncle Jim, Aunt Carol, cousins Sarah and Pete, their spouses, their children, the whole extended Hargrove clan. Everyone except me. 9 years. 9 consecutive summers of accidentally scheduling family gatherings when I have board meetings. 9 years of watching their photos appear on social media, my nieces and nephews growing up without knowing their aunt, my siblings growing closer while I grow more distant. A notification pops up in the corner of my screen. The real estate alert I set up months ago when I first suspected something was wrong. My throat tightens as I click the link. Historic lakefront property, $740,000. The photos load one by one. The red brick exterior weathered by decades of Michigan winters. The wraparound porch where Grandma Eleanor taught me to make seashell wind chimes. The living room with its stone fireplace where we gathered for Christmas mornings. Every image hits like a physical blow. They're selling it, without telling me. My hands shake as I pull up the county records website. Property tax history loads, revealing what they've been hiding: $27,965 in unpaid taxes over the past 3 years. 3 years. The same 3 years I've been sending checks, substantial checks marked specifically for lake house maintenance. Checks they cashed without hesitation, without explanation, without using the money for its intended purpose. A memory surfaces: 16-year-old me, proudly holding my national economics competition trophy, standing alone in an empty auditorium, because my family chose Logan's baseball game instead. The same Logan who now manages the lake house finances. The same Logan who apparently had no problem pocketing my contributions while letting the taxes go unpaid. My computer screen blurs, but I won't cry. Not here. Not in this office I earned through years of strategic planning and relentless work ethic. Traits my grandmother recognized in me long before anyone else did. I minimize the real estate listing and open my portfolio tracker. The numbers confirm what I already know. I could buy the property outright. I could outbid any potential buyer. The thought stops me cold. My spine straightens as clarity washes over me like the cool lake water I remember from childhood summers. I press the intercom button. Julia, cancel my afternoon meetings. All of them. Of course, Ms. Hargrove. Should I reschedule for tomorrow? No, I need to make a trip. I leave the office and go straight to the old storage. The storage facility is 20 minutes across town. I haven't visited in months, but my fingers know the code by heart. The metal door rolls up to reveal towers of cardboard boxes, each labeled in my grandmother's precise handwriting. Eleanor Hargrove, family photos. Eleanor Hargrove, holiday decorations. Eleanor Hargrove, lake house memories. The manila envelope sits exactly where I left it, tucked between 2 boxes marked personal papers. The words written across the front still make my heart catch for Delaney when the time comes. I slide down against the concrete wall, the envelope heavy in my lap. The paper has yellowed slightly at the edges, but the seal remains unbroken. All these years, I've honored my grandmother's instruction to wait for the right moment. Inside, I find a trust document and a handwritten note. My grandmother's elegant script flows across the page. Love doesn't always come from those who raise us. Use this when the silence becomes unbearable. The trust document blurs as I scan its contents. One passage stands out in stark legal language. In the event that primary beneficiaries fail to maintain property tax obligations for a period exceeding 2 years, all rights and title transfer to the secondary beneficiary, Delaney Eleanor Hargrove. My hands tremble as I pull out my phone. The number for Phelps Legal appears in my recent calls, the firm that handled my last contract negotiation. Mr. Phelps, it's Delaney Hargrove. I need you to look at a trust document today. His response is immediate. Of course, when would you like to come in? I look at the real estate listing still open on my phone at the offers being accepted banner across the top. I'm on my way now. In the reception area of his law office, I sit with my grandmother's trust document in my lap. The clause that could change everything stares up at me, black ink on yellowed paper. 9 years of exclusion, 9 years of pretending their rejection didn't cut bone deep. But my grandmother knew. She always knew. The receptionist looks up. Ms. Hargrove, Mr. Phelps will see you now. I stand smoothing my skirt with steady hands. They wanted to sell my history out from under me. They wanted to erase the last physical connection to the one person who truly saw me. What they don't know is that I'm done fighting for a place at their table. I'm buying the whole damn house. The leather chair across from Mr. Phelps creaks as I shift forward, my fingers tracing the yellowed edge of my grandmother's trust document. Sunlight streams through his office window, catching dust motes that dance above the mahogany desk between us. His wire-rimmed glasses reflect the text as he studies the clause that brought me here. This is ironclad, Delaney. Mr. Phelps taps the critical paragraph with his index finger. Your grandmother made you alternate beneficiary with very specific conditions. My throat tightens as he reads aloud. If primary heirs fail to uphold upkeep or tax obligations, the alternate beneficiary, Delaney Eleanor Hargrove, has full title rights. A memory surfaces Grandma Eleanor and me on the dock, watching the sunset paint the lake orange, her soft voice carrying wisdom I was too young to fully grasp. This house should bring joy, not division. Remember that, little one. Mr. Phelps pulls up the county records on his computer screen. According to these files, they've been behind on taxes for 3 years. 3 years. The words scratch my throat. But I've sent the money specifically for the lake house, every quarter like clockwork. He swivels his monitor so I can see the numbers myself. Red text shows $27,965 in unpaid property taxes. The same 3 years I've been writing 5-figure checks marked lake house maintenance. Show me everything. My voice comes out stronger than I feel. His assistant wheels in a cart laden with folders, bank statements, property records, tax documents, real estate listings. Each page reveals a new betrayal. My canceled checks deposited into accounts I never knew existed. Logan's signature on withdrawal slips moving money marked for taxes into investment accounts under his name. Email threads between my siblings discussing how to get top dollar without Delaney finding out. Tessa's response burns across the page. She'd probably want her fair share even though she's never here. My father's reply, let's just handle this quietly. No need to complicate things. More emails unfold their poison. Tessa organizing family reunions, deliberately scheduling around my busiest weeks. Board meeting season is perfect. She'll never make it. Logan's financial reports showing my contributions diverted into his personal projects while the house fell into disrepair. The truth sprawls across Mr. Phelps' desk in black and white: 9 years of systematic exclusion, 9 years of financial manipulation, 9 years of my parents enabling it all through their silence. I knew your grandmother. Mr. Phelps removes his glasses, polishing them with a soft cloth. She was wise to set this up the way she did. His assistant brings another stack of documents: property records, tax forms, legal notices. The tools to reclaim what should have been partly mine all along. We can execute your grandmother's clause immediately. He spreads the papers before me like a deck of cards. The question is, how do you want to handle this? The family portrait on his credenza catches my eye. 3 generations smiling together, the kind of photo my family never managed to capture, without someone being cropped out. We could contact them first, he continues, or we could proceed directly with asserting your rights. My fingernails press half moons into my palms. My family has spent 9 years pretending I don't exist unless they need something. The real estate listing glows on his computer screen. Offers being accepted floats above photos of my childhood haven. If they accept an offer, it complicates things legally. Mr. Phelps leans back in his chair. We'd need to act quickly to protect your interests. I want to buy it through a trust. Keep my name out of it until the deed is transferred. His eyebrows lift slightly. May I ask why? The house isn't just property. I touch the trust document, feeling its age-softened edges. It's the last place I felt like I belonged, and I want them to understand exactly what they've lost before they know who's taken it. The next hour dissolves into signatures and bank transfers. My investment portfolio shrinks as the trust account grows. Each document requires another piece of my financial security, but my hand never wavers. Mr. Phelps confirms the final transfer. The seller accepted your offer. The trust's name doesn't raise any flags for them. Tears blur my vision as I sign the closing papers, but they don't fall. These aren't tears of loss. They're markers of transformation, witnesses to the moment I stop fighting for a seat at their table and buy the whole house instead. The confirmation email arrives with a soft chime, closing in 3 weeks. I open my calendar, scrolling to the date saved in my grandmother's trust letter. The family reunion falls exactly 1 week after closing. My lips curve into a smile that would make Eleanor proud as I book a flight to Michigan and reserve a room at the lake house under my own name. The setting sun paints Mr. Phelps' office in shades of amber as I gather my things. 9 years of silence taught me something my family never understood. Sometimes silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. I pause at his door. Thank you for helping me honor my grandmother's wishes. He nods, understanding far more than I've said. Eleanor would be proud of how you're handling this. Not with vengeance, but with dignity. The trust document rests in my briefcase as I walk to my car. Its weight finally feeling like protection instead of pain. In 3 weeks, my family will learn what Grandma Eleanor always knew. The quiet ones notice everything, plan carefully, and strike once with precision that leaves no room for doubt. An hour later, my phone buzzes on the nightstand. The screen glows with Logan's name in a group text to the family. Delaney hasn't asked about the house. Guess she finally got the message. The cherry wood floors creak beneath my feet as I cross to the window. Outside, mist rises from the lake in ghostly ribbons. A cardinal lands on the weathered bird feeder Grandma Eleanor mounted decades ago, its red feathers bright against the gray morning. The property manager's email arrived an hour ago. Sale completed to Hargrove Trust, LLC. My parents' response rolled in minutes later. Thank goodness that's handled before the reunion. My fingers trace the smooth wood of the doorframe as I take in my childhood bedroom one last time. The walls still wear the pale yellow paint Grandma helped me choose when I was 12. A sunny room for my sunshine girl? She called me then. Tessa's latest message pings through. Mom and Dad get the Master Logan and crew in the East Wing, my bunch in the West. Everything's settled. No mention of me. Not even a spare closet. After I came home, I could not sleep that night at all, so I did additional research about the case and possible outcomes. The next morning, the clock on my phone reads 6:47 a.m. In exactly 13 minutes, the property manager will arrive with the keys. My keys. The thought sends a shiver down my spine that has nothing to do with the morning chill, at precisely 7 gravel crunches under tires. Sarah Chen steps out of her SUV, clipboard in hand. Her eyes widen slightly as she recognizes me. Ms. Hargrove. She extends the keys, a slight tremor in her fingers. Welcome to your property. The brass key feels heavy in my palm, familiar and foreign all at once. 9 years of exclusion distilled into this small piece of metal. The front door opens on silent hinges, recently oiled presumably for the sale showing. But beyond that superficial maintenance, the house's wounds reveal themselves one by one. A crack spiders across the living room window. The deck railing wobbles under my touchwater stains, the kitchen ceiling. How long? My voice comes out harder than intended. Sarah shifts her weight. The deterioration, it's been gradual. Your brother has managed everything since your grandmother passed. There were always excuses for repairs not getting done. She pulls a thick folder from her bag. You should see these. The documents inside tell their own story. Receipts for repairs never completed. Invoices marked paid for work that clearly never happened. My parents' signatures authorizing Logan to make all decisions. And there, paper clipped to the back copies of my maintenance checks, each one cashed within days of receipt. My fingernails dig into my palms as I descend the basement stairs. The musty air catches in my throat. Cardboard boxes line the walls, each one labeled in my brother's hasty scrawl. Dell's kid stuff, Dell's books, Dell's junk. A flash of familiar fabric catches my eye. I pull it free. Grandma's quilt, the one she spent a year making for my high school graduation. Paint splatters mar the intricate pattern. They've been using it as a drop cloth. My phone is in my hand before I realize I've moved. Julia, I need contractors, today, as many as you can find. Within an hour, trucks begin arriving. Roofers, electricians, plumbers. Julia's voice guides them through speakerphone, orchestrating the chaos with military precision. The East Wing needs priority, I tell the foreman. My family arrives tomorrow, and they'll need somewhere to sleep. He eyes the water damage. That's ambitious. Bill me for overtime, whatever it takes. As workers swarm the house, I tackle the basement boxes. Each one holds another piece of my erased history. Photo school awards, the economics textbooks I studied late into the night, while Logan's baseball trophies claim the living room shelves. A battered cardboard box marked trash stops me cold. Inside, wrapped in yellowed newspaper, lies Grandma's seashell wind chime. The shells still gleam with the pearl paint we carefully applied one summer afternoon. Some things are meant to weather storms, she told me then. They come out stronger for it. My hands remember the motions as I untangle the strings, test each shell for cracks, replace the frayed cord with new fishing line. The work settles something in my chest. Hours blur together. Julia arrives in the evening armed with binders and a determination that matches my own. Mr. Phelps sends hourly updates confirming my legal ownership. The local hardware store owner remembers Eleanor's granddaughter and bumps our orders to the front of the line. In the attic, I find the unedited versions of family photos, the ones where I wasn't cropped out, wasn't positioned, just out of frame. A note in Grandma's elegant script falls from between the pages. The true legacy is in the love, not the lumber. I place the photos throughout the house, not to erase the past 9 years, but to restore the full story, the truth of who we were, who we became, and who we might still be. The seashell wind chime takes its place on the front porch as the sun sets. A breeze catches the shells, drawing forth that familiar melody. For a moment, I'm 12 again, watching the sunset with Grandma Eleanor, her quiet voice teaching me that strength doesn't always roar. My phone lights up with Mr. Phelps' number. Everything's in order, he assures me. The property manager has updated the reservation system. Your family members are listed as guests, not owners. I end the call and move to the master bedroom, my bedroom now. The bed is freshly made with Grandma's restored quilt. On the nightstand, a photo of her and me on the dock, both of us laughing at some forgotten joke. Gravel crunches outside. Later that day, my family's cars wind up the driveway headlights, cutting through the gathering dusk. They're a day early, exactly as I predicted. Logan never could resist trying to stake his claim first. The wind chime sings its gentle warning. I square my shoulders and move to the window, watching their familiar shapes emerge from their cars. 9 years of rejection distilled into this moment. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but reclamation that's best served with quiet dignity. The shells chime again, and I swear I hear Grandma Eleanor's laugh on the breeze. The gravel crunches under their tires as 3 SUVs wind up the driveway. I watch from the upstairs window, my fingers pressed against the cool glass. Tessa's red Suburban leads the parade, followed by Logan's black Range Rover and our parents' silver Mercedes. The familiar vehicles carry unfamiliar passengers, now guests, rather than owners. Julia touches my shoulder. Everything's ready, Ms. Hargrove. The property manager, Anne, stands at attention on the front porch, clipboard in hand, her silver hair caught in the late afternoon breeze. Right on cue, car doors slam, and voices rise in a chorus of casual chatter. Luggage wheels scrape against gravel. A child squeals, probably Tessa's youngest. "Welcome to Hargrove Lake House." Anne's clear voice cuts through their noise. "I'll need to see your reservation." The chatter stops. In the sudden silence, a seashell wind chime tinkles softly. "Reservation." Tessa's voice rises sharp as broken glass. "This is our family home." Logan pushes past our sister, his Italian loafers crunching on the stone path. "Get out of our way. We own this property." "Actually," Anne replies calm, as Stillwater ownership has changed. "You're listed as guests, not owners." Dad's face flames red enough to see from my vantage point. "This is ridiculous. We sold this house 3 weeks ago." Mom rummages through her oversized purse, see Reddit cards and lipsticks tumbling onto the porch. "I have the paperwork right here, somewhere." Logan yanks out his phone, jabbing at the screen. "This is completely unacceptable. I'm calling our lawyer." He puts it on speaker, pacing like a caged animal. The lawyer's tinny voice confirms what they already know. "Yes, you sold it to Hargrove Trust LLC." Tessa whirls toward the house, her designer sunglasses sliding down her nose. "What kind of sick joke is this? Who would dare buy our family home?" Logan stalks toward Anne, jabbing a finger at her chest. "I'll have your job for this." Anne doesn't flinch. She holds up a laminated card. Section 3. One of our guest policy clearly states that harassment of staff will result in removal from the property. Tessa pulls out her phone, its rhinestone case catching the sun. "I'm documenting this whole absurd situation." The crunch of tires on gravel announces the sheriff's cruiser. Bill Thompson steps out, his badge glinting. I remember him from summers spent climbing his apple trees back when the world was simpler. "I see Ms. Hargrove has finally taken possession," he says, adjusting his belt. Julia appears at Anne's side, legal documents fanned out like a winning poker hand. Mr. Phelps's face fills the tablet screen. She holds his bow tie, as precise as his legal expertise. "You're welcome to stay as guests," Anne says, "if you follow house rules." The moment stretches like pulled taffy. I smooth my skirt and check my reflection in the window. 9 years of exclusion settle into my spine, straightening it vertebrae by vertebra. My heels click against the hardwood stairs as I descend. The sound echoes through the foyer, a steady heartbeat of ownership. 5 faces snap toward me. Mom's hand flies to her throat. Dad's mouth opens and closes like a landed fish. Tessa's phone tilts toward the floor, forgotten. Logan recovers first, surging forward. "You did this! You bought our house out from under us." I meet his gaze, remembering the little boy who once pushed me off this very porch because I scored higher on a math test. Not exactly. I simply claimed what Grandma Eleanor always intended. The trust document feels light in my hands, a paper sword wielded with surgical precision. "I've been the rightful owner for 3 years, ever since you stopped paying the taxes." Mom's tears fall mascara, drawing dark rivers down her cheeks. "But we needed that money from the sale." "You don't understand our financial situation." Dad stammers, his golf tan, unable to hide his pallor. "You've always been so spiteful." Tessa spits the words like venom. Logan's lawyer voice booms through the entry hall. "We'll fight this in court." Mr. Phelps clears his throat from the tablet screen. "I wouldn't recommend that course of action given the documented misappropriation of funds." Summer light streams through the stained glass window above the door, painting their faces in fragments of color. The same window Grandma Eleanor used to tell me held pieces of rainbow caught by her own grandmother. "You have 2 options." My voice carries the weight of 9 years' silence. "Stay as my guests for the reunion following house rules, or leave." They exchange glances, a family dance I was never invited to join. Sheriff Thompson shifts his weight. "What'll it be, folks? I can escort you to your cars if needed." The grandfather clock in the hall ticks away 30 seconds of stunned silence. The same clock that marked hours of lonely holidays, of missed celebrations, of intentional exclusions. "You'd still have us stay?" Mom's whisper barely carries. "After everything." I think of Grandma Eleanor's words written in her elegant script, "Love doesn't always come from those who raise us." But she also taught me something else, that true power lies not in rejection, but in choice. Grandma Eleanor believed family should always have a place at the table. I turn toward the stairs, even when they don't deserve it. The first step creaks under my heel. Dinner's at 6. Your rooms are assigned on the board in the hall. I pause at the landing, allowing myself one small indulgence. Oh, and Logan, I found all the receipts. The seashell wind chime sings in the breeze as I climb the remaining stairs, each step carrying me further from the girl who begged for scraps of family love. Sometimes the greatest power isn't in rejection, it's in setting the terms of acceptance. Behind me, I hear Anne's professional voice resume. Now, about those room assignments. The family huddles in loose clusters around the living room, their whispers carrying across hardwood floors. Sunlight streams through freshly cleaned windows, illuminating dust motes that dance above their heads. My mother wrings her hands in her lap. Tessa keeps smoothing her skirt. Logan grips a leather portfolio so tightly his knuckles have gone white. My father rises first, shoulders squared like he's approaching a business deal. "Sweetheart," he says, and my skin crawls at the false warmth in his voice. "We need to talk about what's best for everyone." I say nothing. Just watch him from my grandmother's old armchair. The leather still holds the impression of her form, a ghost of comfort against my back. Mother dabs at her eyes with a tissue. This house has always been for the whole family. You can't just... Actually, I can. My voice comes out steady, measured. But please continue. I'm curious what script you've prepared. Logan springs up, flipping open his portfolio. Papers rustle as he pulls out color-coded spreadsheets. "Look, if we sell together, we all benefit. The market value alone." "We should vote as a family," Tessa cuts in. "That's the fair way to handle this." A laugh bubbles up in my throat, but I swallow it back. They've positioned themselves in a loose semicircle, now thinking they have me cornered, like wolves circling wounded prey. Except I'm not wounded anymore. "This could drag on for years in court," Logan says, tapping his spreadsheets. "Legal fees alone would eat up any profit." Mother leans forward, fresh tears welling. "Your grandmother would be heartbroken to see this, Delaney. She wanted us together." "Mentally unstable," my father mutters to Uncle Jim. The pressure of her job finally got to her. Tessa stands, hands on her hips. "You've always been jealous of what we have. Remember Bobby Mitchell's birthday party? You threw such a fit when Mom made you leave early." "That's enough." My voice cuts through their crescendo of accusations. I rise, slowly cross to the mantel, and lift down a familiar leather-bound album. The room falls silent as I return to my seat. "Before I respond to your concerns, I'd like to share something." The album's spine creaks as I open it. This first photo is from summer 1995. Notice how I'm standing between Tessa and Logan. Now here's 1996. I've somehow shifted to the edge. 1997, half my face is cropped out. And look at this beauty from last summer's reunion. Oh, wait, I'm not in it at all. Logan shifts his weight. "That's ridiculous. You're reading too much into..." I reach into my briefcase and withdraw a manila folder. 9 years of declined invitations. Each one happens to fall on dates you knew I had board meetings. I lay out email threads one by one. Here's you and Tessa coordinating dates. Delaney's calendar shows the 15th is bad for her. Perfect. Mother's tissue shreds between her fingers. That's not... Bank statements showing every check I sent for maintenance. Tax documents proving where that money actually went. Or should I say didn't go. I meet Logan's eyes. "Your emails about managing Delaney out were particularly creative." The room pulses with silence. Outside, waves lap against the shore, a steady heartbeat underneath our collective tension. "For 9 years. I say, standing at the head of the room. I believed I wasn't wanted because I wasn't loved. I place my grandmother's letter on the coffee table. Grandma knew better. I read the trust clause aloud, watching their faces shift from confusion to understanding to something darker. "I don't want your money. I don't want your approval." My voice drops lower. "I want the truth. Why did you work so hard to erase me?" The silence stretches until it nearly snaps. Mother stares at her hands. Father examines the ceiling. Tessa's jaw works like she's chewing glass. Finally, Mother whispers, "You were always so different. So independent." "You made us look bad." Tessa spits. "Your success, your confidence. Do you know how many times I've heard, 'Why can't you be more like your sister?'" Logan's laugh holds no humor. "Dad always said you'd do fine on your own, that we needed the help more." His eyes cut to our father. "Isn't that right? Delaney can take care of herself. She doesn't need us." Father's face flushes deep red. "Now wait just a minute." "No." I pick up the letter. "I've waited 9 years. I've waited while you took my money, excluded me from my own family, and tried to sell my inheritance. I'm done waiting." I cross to the refrigerator and pin up a sheet of paper. "These are the new rules for the lake house. You're welcome here as guests, not owners. You'll treat the property and me with respect. If you want any hope of reconciliation, we'll start with family therapy." "You can't dictate terms to us," Father blusters. "We're your parents. Biology doesn't grant authority. Actions do." I move toward the door. "Dinner is still at 6. You're welcome to join me, or don't. The choice is yours now." The screen door creaks as I step onto the back porch. The dock stretches before me, my grandmother's favorite spot for watching sunsets. Behind me, chairs scrape across hardwood. Muffled voices rise and fall like the waves. Some will stay, some will go. For the first time in 9 years, their choice doesn't define my worth. The hardest part of reclaiming your place isn't in the taking. It's in deciding what kind of table you'll set once you own the house. I close my eyes and breathe in lake air. Somewhere a loon calls across the water. The sound echoes like my grandmother's laugh, strong, wild, and finally free. And I will have a whole year of freedom from now on, and many more to come. A year later, the morning sun sparkles across the lake as I sip coffee on the wraparound porch, watching a pair of cardinals flip between the maple branches. A soft breeze stirs the seashell wind chime. Its gentle music carrying memories of small hands learning to thread fishing lines through delicate shells. My phone buzzes with a new reservation request. Sarah, my cousin Pete's wife, wants to bring their kids for a long weekend. A year ago, such a request would have felt like a victory. Now it's just Thursday. The house gleams behind me, its red brick restored to the warm hue I remember from childhood. Fresh paint brightens the window frames, and the gardens burst with black-eyed Susans, Grandma Eleanor's favorite. The changes go deeper than cosmetics. New wiring protects against fire hazards, updated plumbing ensures steady hot water, and reinforced supports keep the dock steady even in rough weather. I trace my finger along the reservation calendar hanging by the door. Family names mingle with friends, colleagues, and local community members. Mom and Dad's weekend visit last month left dishes in the sink and sandy footprints on the porch, signs of genuine relaxation, rather than the stiff formality of their first stay as guests. "You were right, Grandma," I whispered to the wind chime. "The house was never about ownership." The steps down to the dock draw me forward, each wooden plank solid beneath my feet. 2 Adirondack chairs face the water, where once a single chair stood sentinel. The second chair stays empty most mornings, but its presence matters more than its occupation. Memory washes over me, 10-year-old me, curled in Grandma Eleanor's lap, in that solitary chair, her silver bracelet cool against my cheek as she pointed toward the horizon. "This place will always be here for you, little one," she had promised. "Not the wood and stone, those change, but the peace you feel watching the sun rise over the water, that's yours forever." My bare toes grip the sun-warmed boards as I scan the shoreline. The girl who once sat in her grandmother's lap would never have believed this future, standing here as owner, protector, healer of what was broken. One Wednesday morning, a framed photo in my office captures last month's family therapy session. Mom's hand reaching for mine across the counselor's coffee table, tears tracking down both our faces. Dad's letter of apology hangs beside it, his familiar cramped handwriting filling 3 pages with hard truths and harder hopes. Logan's absence echoes at family gatherings, his choice to step away rather than face the consequences of his actions. But Tessa's children splash in the shallows on weekend visits, shrieking with delight as I teach them to string shells, just as Grandma Eleanor taught me. Their wind chimes hang from bedroom windows, imperfect and precious. Julia's car crunches up the gravel drive right on schedule. She's coordinating today's retreat, a gathering of women navigating their own family fractures. The scholarship fund in Grandma Eleanor's name helps cover costs for those who need it. "Morning, boss," Julia calls, balancing a box of notebooks against her hip. "Mr. Phelps is bringing bagels for the welcome breakfast. Said something about honoring tradition." The local community embraced me as Eleanor's granddaughter, long before they knew me as the lake house's owner. They remembered her kindness, her quiet strength, her way of making space for others to heal. Now they bring their stories to the same porch where she once served lemonade and wisdom. The screen door creaks, another sound I chose not to fix. Some imperfections carry their own music. Mr. Phelps appears with the promised bagels and a knowing smile. "Eleanor would be proud," he says, settling into one of the porch rockers. Though not surprised, I pour him coffee in Grandma's old ceramic mug, the one with tiny painted violets. "The house feels different now. Fuller." "That's because you filled it with purpose instead of pain." He gestures toward the gathering room where Julia arranges chairs in a circle. "Your grandmother understood the difference between a building and a sanctuary." The wind picks up carrying voices from the gravel parking area where the retreat participants arrive. Their tentative expressions mirror what I once saw in my own mirror, the exhaustion of fighting for a seat at tables that kept moving beyond reach. I touch the small brass plaque by the front door, "Hargrove Haven, where healing happens." Below it hangs a simple hand-lettered sign, "Welcome to a place where everyone has a seat at the table." My phone chimes with a text from Mom. "Thinking of you today. Dad found more of Eleanor's old photos. Coming up next weekend to share them." A year ago, I thought buying this house meant reclaiming 4 walls and a roof. Instead, I found my way home to the truth Grandma Eleanor tried to teach me. Sometimes what looks like exclusion is actually protection, preparing you for the moment when you'll need to create your own table. The seashell wind chime sings in harmony with new voices gathering below. I straighten my spine, feeling the strength of lakeside mornings in my bones, and head down to welcome them all home.